Hello, my friends. Good morning. Welcome back to I Read to Relax with me, Jessica. Or welcome for the first time if this is your first time visiting us, but I hope it's either a return visit or you'll come back in the future. I am here today with a rapid review, which is my thoughts in 5 minutes or less on one of my latest reads. So I don't have a physical copy of this book. I read it as an e-arc, and so I'm just going to show you the cover. It is Seize the Chaos by Silas Reames, and this is the first full-length novel in the Carolina Magic series, which is an urban fantasy series, and it's set in the same world, so it's related to Silas Reames' earlier Shifter Vengeance series, but you don't have to read one to read the other. I definitely feel like you get a little bit more out of it because Never and her crew from the Shifter Vengeance series make an appearance here. But again, if you haven't read that series, you're okay starting with this one. So I had previously read the novella prequel for this series and really enjoyed it. That is when we get introduced to our main character, Lena, short for Carolina, and her best friend runs a bar in their local seaside town. We find out how she gets her adorable fire-breathing basset hound puppy, and set up the fact that they're going to be assisting with different types of essentially paranormal investigations. So a body turns up in their town. They help to solve where the body came from. This first full-length novel, Seize the Chaos, we get to see Lena, Stella, Brody, the werewolf bouncer at her friend's bar, and some of the other characters we met in the prequel novella, and they end up involved in their first full-fledged sort of like real investigation. Different supernatural beings in their local seaside town are disappearing, and there are two members of their local police force who are actually supernatural creatures themselves, and so they investigate this type of case so that the normies don't know what's going on. It's just such a great story with this multitude of different types of love that get explored. There's a slow burn romance. There's like the fierce devotion that someone feels for their siblings. There's found family. Lena and Stella basically act as if they're sisters rather than just best friends, and show the best kind of like best strong friendship. To the point that Stella's grandmother, who is the local badass coven witch leader, has essentially adopted Lena into her family, even though she's not a witch. And again, the fierce protective love we'd feel for a pet or other animals. There's just so much that gets explored in this book. As I mentioned, we get guest appearances from Never and some of her crew from the previous series. And the quest, the sort of investigation that gets explored here is both fun and interesting and supernatural, but also feels so relevant to the sorts of things that are happening, you know, in like the modern world, because again, this is urban fantasy, so it's set in a secret subset of our world, and it just ends up feeling like you could take the supernatural element out of this and it would 100% work in our world, which I love. So Silas Reames is one of my favorite urban fantasy authors right now, and I loved this first start in this new series.